When you hear Agile, what pops into your head first?
Uh-huh.
Is it, software developers, code, maybe those daily stand-up meetings?
Yeah, that's pretty common. Kanban boards, sprints.
Exactly. And look, if that's your picture, you're definitely not alone. It's a very strong association.
For sure.
But what if that picture is actually kind of narrow, maybe obscuring what Agile can really do?
Okay, I see where you're going.
So today on the deep dive, our mission is sort of challenge that. We want to explore the universal power of Agile, way beyond just software.
Sounds good.
We're digging into this really compelling source, beyond software, Agile's universal power in complex work. The ID is V0025.
Got it.
And the goal is to pull out the key insights, really, to help you understand where Agile actually shines, no matter your industry, no matter what your specific job involves. Let's get into it.
Okay, so the source kicks off by pointing out something interesting. If you read the original Agile Manifesto,
You'd totally be forgiven for thinking, okay, this is only for software product development.
Right.
Because that's where it started.
that was the context, yeah.
But V0025 says, hold on, think again. It makes this really strong case that Agile's power isn't actually tied to software development specifically. Its strength comes from how well it handles work. That is, and I'm quoting here, complex, unpredictable, and constantly changing.
That's the key phrase right there.
Ah.
Complex, unpredictable, constantly changing.
Yeah, and that just shifts the whole perspective, doesn't it? The
Yeah.
source argues the real question isn't what you do, but how your work behaves. And that difference, it's everything.
It really is. And what's great is the source doesn't just say that. It gives us a way to identify that kind of work. It brings in the VUCA framework.
VUCA.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And it's not just, jargon.
Right, not just buzzwords.
No, it's presented as more of a diagnostic tool.
Yeah.
It helps pinpoint where an adaptive approach, like Agile, isn't just nice to have, but maybe essential.
Essential, okay.
Yeah, because the source points out, in today's world, these VUCA elements are, quote, more of the norm than the exception.
That feels true. So let's maybe break down VUCA a bit, because understanding those bits seems pretty key to seeing Agile's wider use.
Absolutely. Let's do it. So first up is volatility.
Okay.
This is where things change fast, unpredictably. Think market trends shifting on a dime, or a new competitor just appearing out of nowhere.
Right, fast changes you didn't see coming.
Exactly. Then you've got uncertainty. This is when you just can't be sure about the future. What are the outcomes going to be?
Keep launching something new. You hope it works, but...
Precisely. You don't know how the public will react or if it'll stick long term. There's just inherent uncertainty there.
Makes sense.
Then, complexity. This is where lots of different factors are interconnected.
Like that spider web idea.
Exactly like that. Changing one thing can cause ripples you didn't expect somewhere else entirely. Building a complex service, for example. Lots of dependencies.
Okay. And the last one.
Ambiguity. This one's often the trickiest. It means it's really hard to see clear cause and effect.
Foggy.
Yeah, foggy is a good word. You might not have a clear map, information is incomplete, so planning in a straight line. Very, very difficult.
And when you lay them out like that, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it only applies to software teams.
Not at all. It sounds like, a lot of work these days, right?
It really does.
And the source uses some fantastic real-world examples to hammer this home. Think about healthcare teams.
Oh,
They're constantly adjusting treatment plans, right? Based on how the patient is responding right now, or new test results, or some unexpected issue.
yeah, that's definitely not static.
It's pure volatility and uncertainty management. They're constantly refining the product of patient care. Or think about artists.
Artists. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting example.
No.
Yeah. They hardly ever start with a perfect vision of the final piece, right? They iterate. They do drafts, sketches.
Get feedback.
Exactly. Get feedback, experiment, let new ideas emerge. That's tackling complexity and ambiguity head-on in the creative process.
An evolving product, too, in a way.
It is. And even things like social services programs, they have to constantly evolve because community needs change. The environment changes.
Yeah, you can't just set a 5-year plan for community support and walk away.
Absolutely not. It's a fundamentally VUCA environment. They need constant adaptation to actually deliver effective services. It's about the continuous evolution of that service, not a fixed project.
So it really does boil down to this. If your work is defined by being complex, unpredictable, and constantly changing, then trying to stick to a rigid, fixed plan, That's just not going to work well.
It's setting yourself up for failure, really, or at least a lot of frustration and rework.
Sounds like it, like constantly missing the mark.
Yeah. Those fixed sequential plans, the kind you see in traditional project management for very predictable work.
Right, where you know the outcome pretty well.
Exactly. They struggle like crazy in a VUCA world. They assume you can know everything up front, define it all perfectly, and just execute step by step.
But you can't, not when things are changing.
Right. When you're developing a new product or evolving a service or responding to a crazy market, the ground is shifting under your feet. And that's where Agile comes in.
Okay, and this feels like where Source really gets exciting. It starts showing how different fields, different kinds of teams are already using Agile principles.
Yeah, sometimes without even calling it Agile.
Right, which just blows up that myth that Agile is this one rigid thing or only for certain tasks. The
Right.
source is super clear. That's just wrong.
It is. Agile is more like a combination, a culture of adaptability, plus tools and processes you can customize. That's why it fits such a wide range of challenges, especially in managing and evolving products and services.
So let's get into those examples. They sound really convincing.
They really are. Take human resources.
HR.
HR. Okay, how does Agile fit there?
Well, instead of those, dreaded annual performance reviews.
Yeah. High pressure often feels disconnected.
Right. Agile thinking has inspired more continuous performance conversations. The goal is genuinely supporting growth and development. It's about feedback loops.
So ongoing improvement for the employee, like the product being developed?
Kinda, yeah. Improving the product of employee well-being and their contribution. It's less like a single judgment, more like continuous improvement.
That feels like a much healthier approach. What else?
Finance teams, they're moving away from just static annual budgets.
Which can feel outdated almost immediately.
Exactly. Agile ideas help create dynamic budget strategies. You can reallocate resources faster as things change, but still keep track of everything. It's adapting your capital service to the market, not locking into a fixed budget project.
Okay, that makes sense. More responsive. In healthcare, like we touched on, refining treatments using direct patient feedback, making the service of care better continuously.
These feedback loops are everywhere, aren't they? Even in places like aviation. You mentioned that.
That's right. The source mentions Cockpit Resource Management, CRM.
CRM. Okay.
It's not about just following checklists rigidly. It's about improving safety through better teamwork, communication, and making decisions adaptively when things get unpredictable up there.
So the crew functions better as a unit, as a product almost, under pressure.
You could think of it that way. And manufacturing, too. Quality improvement cycles.
Like Kaizen or Lean.
Similar ideas, definitely.
Sure.
Teams make small step-by-step changes, maybe to a process or the product itself, and they learn from each round. Classic, iterative, agile-style thinking, continuously improving their manufacturing service and the products.
Wow, the examples really cover a lot of ground.
They do. The source also points out operations teams. They thrive using agile approaches that fit their specific goals, keeping services reliable continuously.
Makes sense for ops. What about something like cybersecurity? That seems inherently unpredictable.
Perfect example. They deal with threats changing daily, sometimes hourly.
Constant battle.
Absolutely. Requires super fast learning, quick decisions, constant adaptation of their defenses. You're continuously evolving the security product or service.
Yeah, you can't have a year-long plan for that.
No way. IT operations teams, too, managing complex data centers, networks. They use agile values to handle sudden outages and constantly improve system reliability, the service they offer.
Right, keep things running smoothly.
And even facility management. They balance planned maintenance with unexpected emergencies, burst pipes, power outages. They need flexibility. Agile practices help them manage that service delivery.
Okay.
And this is a really powerful one, social services teams. They work with community needs that are always shifting, often unpredictable.
Very human, very dynamic.
Exactly. So they use constant feedback loops and adaptation to make their programs more effective. They learn from the people they serve, prioritize based on real needs. That's Agile's focus on customer value applied to community service, continuously improving the service for the citizen.
So looking across all of these HR, finance, healthcare, aviation, manufacturing, ops, cyber, facilities, social services, wow, what's the common thread?
The source nails it. It says they all deal with complexity, ambiguity, and constant change in their day-to-day.
VUCA stuff again.
It always comes back to VUCA. That's the core insight. When your work behaves like that, the old way, rigid, Fixed plans just can't cope.
They become obsolete almost instantly.
Pretty much, if they were ever right to begin with.
Right.
So Agile offers this powerful alternative. It's a risk-managed approach. That's a key phrase. It focuses on feedback, flexibility, and steady progress.
Delivering value incrementally.
Exactly. Small, inspectable chunks. You learn from each chunk. You adapt based on what you learned. That iterative adaptive core is why it works for so many things.
So not just software product development.
Right. But also managing budgets dynamically, refining patient care, creating art, running cybersecurity. It's about responding to change effectively while managing a product or service lifecycle. It's not just about managing a fixed project with a clear start and end.
Which leads us to the big question for everyone listening, straight from the source. How can you tell if Agile fits your work?
Yeah, time for some self-reflection.
It really asks you to think about the basic nature of what you do every day.
And the source gives us three really practical questions to help with that reflection.
Okay, what are they?
First, do things change a lot in your work? And not just little tweaks, but significant shifts in what's needed, the context, your understanding.
Question 1, lots of change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second, are there many factors to consider? Where changing one thing tends to affect lots of other things. That interconnectedness, that complexity.
Okay. Question 2, lots of interconnected factors.
Yep. And third, is it hard to see clear cause and effect links? Is the path from what you do to the result often murky, unpredictable, ambiguous?
Question 3, hard to link cause and effect.
Those are the three key questions.
I think a lot of people might hear that and think, well, my work is different, or maybe they still connect Agile too tightly with traditional project management ideas.
It's a common hurdle.
But it sounds like the source argues, if those questions ring true for you, Agile is probably relevant.
That's exactly the conclusion. The source puts it very directly. If you answered yes to those questions, if your work has high volatility, uncertainty, complexity, or ambiguity.
The VCA factors.
Right. Then Agile can help. And crucially, it doesn't matter what your industry or job title is. It really positions Agile as this universal toolkit for navigating complex work, especially around continuously developing products and services that need to adapt. It's a shift away from managing fixed projects towards nurturing evolving products and services.
So that really is the core takeaway from this deep dive. It's so clear. Agile's real power, its deep strength, it doesn't come from some special link to code or tech.
Nope.
Its power is its adaptability, its ability to help teams, any team really, thrive when work gets complex and keeps changing. No matter the field, no matter the product or service being created or managed.
Which leads us perfectly into a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. This is straight from V00025.
Okay, let's hear it.
Have you avoided Agile because you thought it didn't fit your type of work? Or maybe you thought it was just one rigid framework?
Good questions to ponder.
Yeah. We really encourage you to reflect on that. Think about your own work. Maybe parts of Agile are already there unofficially.
Yeah.
Or maybe a small shift in how you approach developing your products or delivering your services could make a big difference in dealing with all this complexity we face now.
We really hope this conversation gave you some new perspectives, maybe some fresh ideas about your own work and how you deliver value.
Hope so too.
And hey, if you want to go deeper into the source material, see all the examples and arguments for yourself, we've got you covered. You can find a direct link to that original video, V0025, right there in the description of this deep dive.
Definitely worth checking out.
Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll be back soon with another deep dive, unpacking more fascinating insights.